right, let's start drawing. Well, while we wait for everybody else to join the stream, we would like to say thank you to all of you out there. Okay, let's try this again. We have 2 people on the stream. Yes. All right, so today we are going to handle a really cool topic. And it's cool because it's going to help you all get past your incredibly horrendous and annoying art block. And what is art block, Marianne?
Art block is when
We're practicing like tattoo, like ink master stuff. Like, what is art block, Marianne?
art block is when you can't decide what to draw, but you want to draw.
Exactly, as Snorlax says. It's when you feel like you are completely like incapable of doing something because you're just blocked. Your creative juices are completely run low and you are just unable to come up with something to do. So I'm going to show you a couple examples of stuff that I do while we just draw whatever, just to kill time. All right. So let's see. Okay. Number one, number one thing that I love doing the most is drawing random crap. Yeah, just drawing random stuff. And the way that you can do that is by drawing big splotches of color or blotches of whatever, and then use those lines or like try to make something with those shapes. I love doing variations of this over and over and over and over when I want to learn a new subject matter. And the reason that I do that is because if I don't want to be hung on to like a certain style that I do. I don't want to be the one style guy. I want to be able to create artwork in every shape, way, form, and that's one way to go about it. When you can actually visualize everything as what you want to draw, then there's really not much that stops you after that. Oh, so welcome to the stream. You guys are amazing and ask us questions. That's the whole point of this. I want to teach you all things for today while I talk. And if I can teach you something that we can draw, that would be amazing. So give us a theme, give us a topic, peeps. Marianne will be the moderator. She'll like ask all the questions that you guys ask me.
Hello.
So let's say, just for fun, while we get this going, while someone, gets on there, I'm just going to start drawing heads. Because it seems like heads are the number one thing that everybody likes to learn how to draw. And I mean, it's kind of obvious. Everybody wants to be able to draw like cool characters, superheroes, portraits, and stuff like that. So it comes with the territory, right? So let's see. We have a basic head shape. This is more so or less how I start all my drawings, my faces, nowadays. It used to be that I used to draw them like this. But now I find myself gearing my like how I envision how something is made more so in this shape. And I really have enjoyed it. The more you learn and the more that you like realize where things fall into place when you're drawing, the less guesswork you have, and therefore you can go into more complex trains of thought. You can draw a lot better, a lot more complex, and put a lot more detail in places that you actually know it's gonna fall. Just gonna draw some heads. Do we have any questions, Marianne?
Somebody suggested drawing scenery like forests.
Ooh, I can do that.
Another suggested snout or animals in general.
Snouts or animals in general?
And somebody said Big Trouble in Little China.
Like, I don't know what you guys want from
And then somebody else said Fantasy World.
Fantasy World. Okay, so read those back to me, and I'm just gonna make a note, and then we'll draw a little bit of each.
Scenery like a forest.
Scenery. We will make a scenery scene. What was the next one?
Snout or animals in general.
Snouts and some animal faces. And what's the last one?
2. Big Trouble in Little China.
No, I don't know what
I don't know
to draw for that.
And then Fantasy World.
And we'll draw something in a fantasy world. All right, that sounds like something fun to talk about while we talk about different exercises you guys can do to, get your flow going better. So I'm going to talk from examples that helped me. And obviously, it's something that only I can gauge that worked for me, that I can hopefully pass on to you so you can experience the same, as I did. But these aren't guaranteed to work. And of course, art block is a pain. So it's something that most people deal with quite constantly. So if you do find that, it's just impossible for you to be able to create anything or find pleasure in creating again after all these exercises, let me know and I will personally make sure that you are happy again when you draw. But, okay. Number one example of something that I like to draw is just random shapes. Let's say that this is a random shape. And then going in and subsectioning parts of a drawing into other random things, and then trying to make something out of them. So for example, in this one, if I wanted it to be a face, it could be somebody's tooth, somebody yelling up, with like one of those awesome pompadour, and we make it a vampire. Why not? So you would go about filling everything out with really fun things. I need you to turn down the volume. Turn down the volume on the app, please. All right, so now if I see something pointy, maybe it looks like a beak. That's a little bird. Maybe this one could be a snake because it's curving around. But always try to give things depth, and always remember to try to envision things with three-dimensional approach to it. Don't just go with side profiles. Don't go with the easiest thing you can think of. Try to push yourself. That's the point of the exercise. And I think an exercise like this would be incredibly fun for a lot of you to try, even if you don't have art block, because it opens up a lot of imagination. And it makes you think outside the box a lot. So just straight up just use random shapes to let that gear what you draw. So that's one example of something you can do in order to just start sparking some ideas up so you can get past art block. All right. Any questions?
No, but we have hellos.
Hey, let's say hello to people. Who's there?
So Kingdom Animations said, "Sup, my friend."
Kingdom Animations. Thank you so much for joining us.
Edward Ingle said, "Woo."
Woo, woo, woo.
Kingdom Animations said, "Woo."
Woo.
The Happy Trainer said, "Hello."
Hello, hello.
Name that I cannot read, Waves.
Hey, read that I cannot read waves.
Another wannabe says hello.
Another wannabe. What's up?
Peralta King says BRB.
Okay. We'll wait for you.
Emily Figuera says Poggers.
Poggers. I'm old.
I don't know what that is.
What's
either.
poggers? People, what's poggers? Can you guys let us know what poggers is? Like I find myself like not understanding some lingo now. And I really feel my age. Like I don't know what's like cool now. Is it like it's lit? It's like legit.
Manuel Rivera says hello.
Oh, hello, hello.
And Nicole Garcia says hello.
Oh, Nicole Garcia, how are you this evening? Hope you guys are all doing fantastic today. So, for example, when I'm drawing right now, a lot of people ask me why I choose just basic highlighters and such to draw. And it's very simple. It's because it allows me to put a lot of really cool color in and very vibrant, and it doesn't bleed. It doesn't bleed, and they're dirt cheap. Who needs Copics when you can draw in blue and yellow and green and neon stuff? Yeah, I like my highlighters.
Your highlighters are very nice.
Actually, I am a big admirer of really, really dried out highlighters. You can actually do really fun things with them. And talking about that, let's do the scenery. Let's do a little scenery scene. I'm not gonna say I'm the best at scenery or perspective for landscapes, but I do know a couple secrets that have led me to be able to do something cool. And let me see if I can just no. Okay, there you go. It seems a little better, right? There you go. Okay, so we have just our basic frame, and we're gonna establish horizon line. In this case, I want it to be a very magical place, but like looking into the distance. So I'm going to set the horizon point pretty high up. From here, I'm gonna use just a single point. I'm gonna have whatever the focus is gonna be right here, and everything is gonna come from there. So we're just gonna make some really light, very light perspective lines. Now, in order to make this a very compelling background, we needed to have a foreground, a middle ground, and a background, as well as preferably a focal point.
Your writing is so bad, hun.
I'm an artist. I am not a literature person. This, I don't know. Yeah, I'm horrible. That's why I couldn't do graffiti either.
Like middle brood.
Okay. All right. So let's focus on a scenery, and then we're gonna actually make this into part of our fantasy world. So, what is a magical thing that appears in a lot of stories? I'll give you guys 5 seconds to say something in the chat if you guys want to chip in on something that you guys want highlighted. I'm gonna say a magical tree, but maybe a mountain, maybe a town. What do you guys think? Do we have anybody?
Sour Drop 12 says hi.
Oh, well, Sour Drop, what's up?
Nicole Garcia says your writing is better than mine. LOL.
I highly doubt that, but thank you.
Uproar says oceans/dragons.
Ooh, epic. Okay, awesome. That sounds fantastic. So, let's say that we want to set our background first. We want to establish what's going to be in the distance. So if we're looking at the ocean.
Benedict Royer says pub or tavern.
A pub or tavern? Okay. Okay. We can do all that. Okay, so we have a pub, tavern, ocean,
And dragons.
dragons. Okay, we can totally do that. So what we're going to set in the background, we're going to establish what's going to be the main focal point of the piece. In this case, maybe making like a giant dragon coming out of the water. So we're going to have the main object right here splashing out of the water. Right? Now that's going to be in a distance, and we're sketching it in, just blocking it in, just making sure that it's going to look pretty cool. So in this case, that's right there. But in order to make this little sketch like look gigantic, we need to establish a middle ground and a foreground. The middle ground can be anything like a town. And I'm just blocking in shapes. In a way that would look like avenues or like a market or whatever you decide that you would like to make that later when you clean up the drawing. Okay, so we have that. We're gonna have our coastal, our water, and that's going to provide us a lot of depth. That's going to make everything seem like that dragon's going to be gigantic. So this is like an overview of a city, followed by having like mountains that just look majestic in the background. And as you can see, I'm making everything guide your eye towards the middle. So now we have our kind of our middle ground. You could add like, you know, like trees. And the trees that I'm doing right now, it's just little crosshatches. It's just little coney crosshatches.
Jesse Rodriguez says the dragon should fight a corgi. And maybe like 50,000 mountains.
Might not be able to see it. Here, I'll draw a corgi fighting him from the top. How about that? But it's going to be really far in the distance, so it's not going to be very visible. But he'll be fighting him. Okay, then once we have our middle ground, you got to set up like a foreground. In this case, you guys said a pub or a tavern. So in this case, I'm going to draw as if this was like a wooden entrance to a tavern with the bartender in the foreground.
Jesse Rodriguez says, hi, Mary. And hi, Jesse.
Hey, Josie. Okay, so now that we have our foreground, if we kind of darken him up, he starts popping out more. Let's make him a pirate. Because why not? Anything that's going to be very much in the foreground, that's not going to be a focal point for you, should technically normally be a darker tone than everything else. So in this case, it's just a silhouette. So we have our dude in the foreground. We have the rest of the bar, our tavern, whatever you want to call it. Then we have that, and then we have our dragon. And then we add a little bit of detail to enhance the look. And then we just let our imagination make the rest happen. And then that's how you would start, like, you know, it's a lot of sketches, a lot of concept art. Would start as simple as something like this, and then just mapping it out, making sure that it's something that can be enhanced later, or if it even looks good or wrong. But this is how you would go about it. And that's a fantastic other way to start, just generating ideas in your head. Just start drawing random scenarios, random sceneries like I just did right now, and maybe you can come up with a story. In this case, it could be a cowboy versus dragon story. And who knows? Maybe that could be something awesome. Any other comments, Marianne?
None at the moment.
No comments. All right. Well, I feel like I'm alone in this sketch session. I don't know if we should continue.
Well, there's 21 people watching.
Oh, there's a lot of you watching. Okay, maybe you guys are so entranced by it that, you're so quiet. Okay, so the next thing, let's play a little bit more in the fantasy area. So, another thing that you can do in order to get the creative juices flowing is to, again, I like the idea of coming up with a lot of random stuff because that allows me to start thinking in a certain way, shape, or form. So, in this case, let's just make something like that. Okay, so we want to make something like this magical. And let's see. The first thing that comes to my mind is like a cane, like a magic wand or something. Man, it's been a while since I watched Harry Potter. We gotta do a stream where we watch Harry Potter and we all draw Harry Potter shit.
I'm down.
All right, if you guys are down for that idea at some point, let me know and we can have like a 3-hour stream watching each movie and then making everything really cool.
We have to be dressed up though.
Of course.
Like in our cloaks.
Of course. Who's everybody's house? Like, okay, I will let you guys guess what house I'm in.
So Tanny Min says that I'm sketching as well.
Yeah.
Nicole Garcia said that would be fun.
Yeah, I think that would be really fun.
Dream Illusion said yes, I'm down for a Harry Potter drawing session with a lot of exclamation marks. And Alejandro Algarin says I'm down, that would be badass.
Right? I think that would be amazing. Maybe like we try to do like some trivia stuff like halfway through or something.
Oh, a trivia.
Yeah, like we just
so
all
fun.
stream, we play trivia games and then just
like the drawing sent to them.
something like that. Yeah, we can totally do that. That sounds amazing.
Benedict Royer says, "Oh yeah, Harry Potter session."
Okay, so the first thing that came to mind with me was like a magical like staff. So in order to make something look very magical, very like majestic or demonic, it normally like I have found that very twisty stuff is very, very conducive to looking magical.
Jesse Rodriguez said Harry Potter marathon or Minions would be fun.
Yeah.
And Uproar said, I'm guessing you're a Hufflepuff.
Oh, you guessed right, my friend. I am like the most Hufflepuffiest Puffle
You are a
ever.
Hufflepuff to your core.
Like, yeah,
You are.
yeah.
Okay, does anybody like follow my accounts? If you do, it'd be fun for you guys to guess mine too.
All right, what do you guys think Marianne is? My lovely hostess and amazing cosplayer model and future host of Travels with Mary and Snackies with Mary. What do you guys think her house is?
You guys guessed correctly with Rodgon.
You guys guessed correctly with me right away. That's awesome.
Jesse Rodriguez says, what house is Archie in?
No, Archie's a Hufflepuff.
Archie's Hufflepuff.
Archie's a Hufflepuff. Like, that guy's just like love.
Nicole Garcia said that was my guess too, that she's also Ravenclaw.
Ah, okay.
And Benedict Royer guessed Ravenclaw.
Damn, they got you down.
Nicole Garcia guessed Ravenclaw.
They got you down, girl. Wow, you guys are great.
They're really good. Oh my god.
Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm going in and trying to add a little extra depth with adding different geometric shapes within the actual drawing. And I achieve that by drawing overlapping lines and then creating negative space. And then with just a little bit of shading, considering that you understand that, lighting comes from a certain direction. So any surface that's not being hit by the light in this way can be generally be shaded in, and it's going to look pretty decent. This is something that comes along with, understanding just perspective. This is the reason that we do perspective, guys and girls. This is the reason. And so that we can make our drawings cooler, so we can understand what we're drawing.
Don Pro says demon avocado.
Demon avocado.
Cayo Machado says, "Hey Rod, I'm opening a dessert brand and I'm struggling to create a character to the brand. Could you give me some tips to create a food character?"
Food character. Okay, so I think most people associate food with suppleness. So if you're going to create a character that is going to be associated with food, it should be a very soft character. It's a character that has a lot of curves. Something that just like calls out friendly, calls out family, anything nice and soft is going to create that effect. The reason that a lot of the times you don't want to go with a super angular character, let's say something like this, is that for some reason an angular design doesn't convey the idea of food as well. That's just what I've found out over the years. But hopefully that helps you come up with a really cool character. All right, so we're gonna have either a really cool demonic skull on top of here, or we're gonna go with a gemstone. Which one do you think we should go with, Marianne?
A really cool what?
Gemstone or a skull?
Gemstone.
Gemstone? Okay. So in order to make a cool gemstone, again, we gotta think in 3D. In this part, I'm just tracing the outline of where I want it to be. And then I start creating the faces for the general design of it. Since I'm just sketching with pen, I'm sketching incredibly lightly. A lot of you ask how I'm able to just draw with pen and how I'm able to get super clean lines. You can get a lot of really cool line work with ballpoint pen. It's not quite like pencil, where you can just tilt it and get a little bit less, make it lighter. But if you get really good at it, you can create lines that are progressively darker just by pressing a little darker. So you can get a very wide range of gradients that you can refine over and over and over and over. I've seen some amazing ballpoint pen realism sketches, and it blows my mind that somebody can do that with this. But I love it much more than pencils. I don't know, it's just a firmer feel. And since I have a very heavy hand, not necessarily that I have big hands, but it's just a very heavy hand, I just break pencils all the time. So I hate pencils. Any questions, hun?
Uproar said skull, lol.
We'll add a little skull in there somewhere.
Skull out of the gemstone?
Yeah. How about a skull inside the gemstone? Ooh. Any other comments?
No, that's it so far. But you still got 22.
I know. It's like... All right. So at this point, I'm trying to add a little bit of texture in the form of what I would like just say, like, again, little cross hatches like this. Just going zigzaggy, zigzaggy. And it, when you like layer them, it ends up looking like fur. If you take your time and you actually, follow where the light would hit it and, take the time to establish a light source and a pattern for the fur, you can make something look really cool. Really, really cool. All right, so we have our magical staff. It's going to be standing up because it's super magical. And now we're going to draw a gem and we're going to draw a skull inside. That's going to be interesting. Okay. All right, so we're establishing the geometric shapes of it. We're going to already establish that the light is coming from this direction. So it would hit here. It would shade a little bit right here. And depending on how transparent we would want to make it, like we would have to establish how much light and how much depth goes into the parts that overlap. Yeah, glass and like anything see-through is an absolute pain. It's really hard to learn. And one day I'll be able to explain it properly, but I don't think I can right now.
Mew23291 asked, did you see Space Jam 2?
Oh, man. Okay. I don't like talking bad about things. I don't. Oh, but I fell asleep, and I never fall asleep in movies. Like, especially if it's the first time I see it. I never fall asleep in movies. I fell asleep, like, I clocked out. It took like 30 minutes for them to, like, show the characters coming out, like the cartoon characters. I am gonna be, like, awesome, like, honest. I love the fact that they put Rick and Morty in there. I absolutely love that. That is quite possibly a good contender for my favorite cartoon.
And Uproar said that they were just mesmerized by the sketching and paying attention. Ian Fernandez says, I just got a Wacom literally 30 minutes ago, plugging everything.
Yes! Oh, I'm so happy for you, man. Like, I still remember the first time I got my first Wacom anything. Woo! Like, you could not get me off my computer, like, at all.
And Yusuf Sharif says, how do you get better in drawing hair?
Hair. Okay, I've been struggling with hair kind of the last year because I've been drawing a lot of women, and I have come to the conclusion that a lot of people overestimate how much hair to put on people's heads. Because I do it all the time. Let's say we have these two heads, right? Normally, a normal person has hair and it's like barely at the top of their head and it drapes just around their skull. Ta-da! It just follows. Find where the hair comes from and then just grow from there, right? That's like the most basic way to go about drawing hair. What I was doing was like giving everybody like a Peg Bundy, like, or like a super gigantic hairdo. And then I would wonder why all the features in the face that I drew look so small. Like, why didn't it look right? It's because I was drawing too much hair. I was drawing it too poofy. It's not supposed to be so poofy. it's supposed to be a little bit closer to your skull. So once you learn the anatomy of
Mewtwo
a human.
replied to the Space Jam's reply from earlier,
Mhm.
oh boy. And then when you mentioned the Rick and Morty, wubba lubba dubba.
Yeah.
And then Felipe Gonzalez, your cousin,
Hey, Felipe.
says hola yo,
Hola, Felipe.
and then starts saying things in Spanish, which I'm gonna butcher right now. Que genio.
Okay, everybody. I would like you all to say thank you to Mr. Felipe Gonzalez, because if it wasn't for him and him drawing and him creating the comics that he did when I was younger, I would not be doing this. This would not be happening, and you guys would not be getting any sort of pleasure from anything I do, because he's the one that pretty much got me started on this path. So, Felipe, gracias, te quiero mucho.
From earlier, continuing, he said, estoy orgulloso de...
Orgulloso. He's proud of me.
No. And people said, gracias, Felipe.
Yeah, you guys got to thank him. His drawings are amazing, and I owe him like a huge gratitude. And so do you all. Everybody that's learned everything from me owes him a little bit of gratitude. So, yeah.
And I'm going to say, hi, Felipe, from Marianne.
Okay, so what I'm doing right now with the highlighter, I am I'm trying to go for the illusion of the skull being inside the ruby or sapphire or whatever it is.
The highlights look really nice.
So in order to create that depth, I'm just going in and I'm excluding, instead of going in with white later, I'm just excluding the things that would show. And then using a slightly lighter, like blue tone, just fill in the areas of the skull, because even though the skull would not be that same color, it would be slightly different color than the actual gem, because it would still be like an object stuck in there. Okay. And then we do the same thing on the bottom to create a little bit more depth so that the skull sticks out. And then, if you want to add like extra cool stuff, you grab your white pen. Let me make sure it works. And then you can make like cool effects like the glowing eyes, whatever. But that's stuff that you can do like later on. So now we have covered our scenery, our fantasy. So now we have to go into snouts and animal faces. Okay, so I'm not going to claim that I'm an expert, not at animal faces. I know how to draw a handful of them, and this is what I'm going to teach you. So when it comes down to drawing animal faces, I always tend to end up using the base reference that I use for my humans, and then I modify that to create the different shapes for animals. So let's say that we have something like a bear or a lion or a tiger or something like that. So those animals have very, very wide snouts. So it would look something more akin to this. Now, depending if it's a cat or if it's like a canine, it really depends if these are going straight, like the top of the head and the snout, or if they angle. And if you really want to like understand this a million times better, go download Aaron Blaze's animal videos because that guy is an absolute genius when it comes down to this. And I'm probably going to butcher everything that I learned from him.
Matthew Fuentes said, "What is your favorite Saturday morning cartoon?" My favorite was TMNT.
Oh man, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Ah, I think my overall favorite one ever was Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh. I used to play Magic the Gathering a lot. Well, I still do, but Yu-Gi-Oh was always like I always wanted that damn disc and like to throw it and make my cards be summoned. Okay, anyways, so we have the area where the top of the head would be. The necks for animals just come straight back from the back of the skull. They don't curve in like humans. And the necks are very thick. So you normally don't see like a very defined jawline because this is extruding out. This is coming, imagine it's this way, 3/4. And then it's extruding out a little bit. So normally you don't connect this line so that you can create depth. Okay? So now, once you have that, you can establish where the skull would go. If you really want to get like, like into the same concept of drawing the skull on, so you can understand how these work, you can do that. I highly recommend it. Learning how to draw animal anatomy is a fantastic thing to know. But if you just want to, kind of get away with just changing the human anatomy, like map that you already laid out, and then just kind of modifying it, you can definitely get away with that, especially if you're going to go really cartoony.
Kristen says, "Big fan of your Instagram page."
Thank you.
Ayusha's spamming the chat, and I don't know if I should do something.
Wait, what?
Ayusha's filling up with the same repeated comment.
What does it say?
"Hi, love Rodgon, love from India, bro."
Hey, man. I appreciate it and thank you, but please don't spam because otherwise you don't allow other people to be able to enjoy the chat. And I would not want to have to kick you from the chat. So thank you for coming on, but please be courteous to other people.
Corrupt Ewok said, "Sorry, Rodgon, can't really see it."
Oh, can't see it from there?
I can see it from here, kind of.
Oh, okay. Here, let's try to draw a different animal right here. Okay. So we're going to start off with the same human, like concept head. And in this case, let's make it into a bird.
Oh, and Corrupt Ewok said, "Never mind, sorry, ignore my comment about the not seeing it."
Okay. So now they have this. Birds have beaks. Let's make it into like a kiwi. So in this case, I'm just going to make the beak. And then just use that same knowledge that we have. We know that you can just draw like eyes. Like a circle is very good for birds because a lot of the times that's all they have. And then
Fernandez says, "I remember being in middle school and watching your videos 24/7. That was about 5-ish years ago."
Oh my god. Wow, that's fantastic. Jesus. Thank you for the support. That's so cool. Let's try a different animal down here. So let's try like, I don't know, like a shark. We're gonna draw like a big head. We're gonna start off again with the same shape that we would use for a human. Let's give it an eye line. Let's do it really high because sharks have very, very, very like little eyes on top of their head. And then you just draw the front of the mouth. It's drawn like a really, really super cartoony.
Then Manuel Vergara says, "Me gusta como cuero el perrito."
And then we have a shark.
And Ayush Sony says he watches all your drawings and on Pinterest also loves it. They're awesome. But he has a question for on Pinterest.
Yeah.
There's only animal drawings, and that's it.
Oh, there's only animal drawings of mine? That's weird.
So how Pinterest works, he does not upload on Pinterest. It's other people who take photos of his art or screenshots of his art and upload it themselves to Pinterest.
Yeah, I don't think I even have a Pinterest account, like at all.
Titapa Chiatragul says, "Hi Rodgon, how do you get better with dynamic poses?"
Okay, so if you want to get better with dynamic poses, you need to get better at drawing anatomy. The more you understand how things connect, like the deeper you understand, the more you're able to translate that to any like posing. Here, let me show you a quick example of just like 1 year worth of difference. Okay, so let's say that's not very dynamic. I was drawing stuff that was very, very stiff because I was still thinking of things as boxes, right? Like a lot of these are very, very like boxy at the beginning of my journey in this like book that I'm drawing. Now, if you move towards the end, you can start seeing that I take a lot more liberty with the shapes, the positionings, like you start seeing a lot more of what is going on. And all this is from memory too. Like once you establish a good mental library and you understand how things are composed, you end up being able to create things that don't exist and you can make them look right. So the positioning should be secondary to learning the actual anatomy.
Ayush Sony said, "Have you tried brush pens for sketching, just like Jake Parker?"
Yeah. I mean, I think I have some right here. I can try some. Just finish my sketch with them. Whee.
And Mewtwo3291 said, "I have a hard time deciding whether to work on something personal, work on something like fan art, working on something for other people. I am here or may not have told him I would do."
Okay, so that is something that even I like.
I missed the first part of that.
Oh, okay.
Question: I often find it difficult to draw every day. I am discouraged because my living arrangement has me interrupted often, and solitude usually gives me the best results. On top of that, I have a hard time deciding whether to work on something personal, work on something like fan art, working on something for other people. I am here or may not have told him I would do. Do you have any tips that you're helping those type of situations?
Yeah. Okay, if you absolutely need to make money with what you are doing for your friend, then hey, take that, make your money, hustle it up, and then just move on. But try to get it out of the way quickly so that you don't have to be annoyed by it too much. Now, if you are just considering doing work for them without anything coming out for you, then it's going to become a little bit more of a chore and you're not going to be like as driven to do anything. So in that case, if it's not something that has all that much of an importance, honestly, just focus on you. Your time is very valuable and you should not waste it on things that aren't going to drive you forward. So if you need the money, great, fantastic, do it. Like, hey, more power, like. But if you don't stress too much about like, you know, solving other people's things for them.
Back on the brush pen for Ayush,
Mm-hmm.
it says that it causes him more problems in the areas under pressure.
Well, pen like those types of pens are not
He says
they're not
that
very
he
friendly.
has a problem doing the inking work using the brush pens as he doesn't know which areas to put the pressure on. So if you can tell him.
Thick to thin lines. Let me see if I can find an actual brush pen. No, I guess I can just use a marker. That's fine. All right, so I don't have an actual brush pen. Like, okay, I don't have an actual brush pen, but I have markers with brush side. So this was something that was taught to me very, very, very early on when I started drawing caricatures at theme parks. And this is a very basic technique of things that you do with a brush tip. If you want to practice these exercises, you can always do them on a blank piece of paper, so you don't have to waste your sketchbook stuff. But this is how you get good with your markers. You want to be able to create thick to thin lines in different shapes and sizes. So you start thin, thick, thin, thick, thin. You can do exercises like these to get used to it. And it's a fantastic way to get your hand and wrist more used to drawing with thick to thin lines with a brush pen. Now, what Jake Parker does, and he normally doesn't use something as thick as this, but what he's doing is he's putting very decisive lines, and he understands where everything goes when he's drawing. Right? Like, he is a master at what he's drawing. He's like so used to drawing what he does that he doesn't necessarily have to sketch it out anymore, and he can just have a lot of fun with what he does. He has a gigantic mental library, and it's something that, like, honestly, a lot of us should aspire for.
Matthew Fuentes says, like always, say you have to know the rules to break the rules.
Exactly. Like, I've always said, if you are amazing at a certain style, you're going to get far. You're going to get far. You're going to be great. But if you learn anatomy, you learn like the basics of like foundational work, then you're going to be able to draw in any style. And there's no limit to what you can do.
Exclusive Potter said, how did you get such a cartoon look?
I just drew a lot of cartoons. I watch cartoons. I read about cartoons. I just love the media. I love the fun and the silliness of it, and the fact that you don't have to be perfect in order to be able to create something really fun.
Shiva said the thumbnail is just the top of your head. LOL. Glad I made it. Mewtwo3291 on the response to her question about how she can handle the situation said thanks.
You're welcome.
Ayush Sony asked, bro, how do you get your own inspiration to make your own cartoon or anime?
Oh man, so okay, if you want to be really inspired and you want to actually feel super incredibly motivated to come up with a story, read the hero's journey, and then there's a bunch of books that allow you to walk you through your own story. From how the hero is made, how the story should flow. definitely pick that up. You're going to feel incredibly inspired to create a whole world. The other thing that you can do is pick up books like these. The Art of, this one's Big Hero 6. And you can see how they put together the whole movie. All the concepts, all the sketches. And if that doesn't inspire you to want to create your own book like that, then nothing will. So I highly recommend you pick up like a couple of those books because they're such great inspirations.
Exclusive Potter said thanks for answering this question. Matthew Fuentes asked, have you ever seen your artwork as a tattoo?
Yeah. My beautiful assistant has tattooed a couple of my pieces on people. And she is the only tattoo artist that I would trust with any of my work.
I know that he likes to do thick to thin line work, like a few of you mentioned earlier in this chat. So that was one of the key things that I had to pay attention to with the tattooing one of his designs.
Yeah, my designs have even though they seem simple, there's a lot of subtlety to it, and it's normally lost in tattoos. But if you guys want to get my work done and done fantastically, you can come down to Marianne Frederick's Tattoo Emporium, where all the tattoos are amazing 1,000% of the time.
If you guys are in San Diego and you guys want to get his work done, I'd be happy to.
See? And she's normally booked for months, huh?
Benedict Royer said, trying to draw Cap front and back. Any tips?
Trying to draw what?
Cap.
Cap?
I'm not sure if he means a hat or Captain America.
Well, let's see if he clarifies. Because it's very different things.
Eliu Anaya
Uh-huh.
says, hi guys, I just want to say that it's really cool that you both take the time to interact with us and give some advice. Also, to both of you, what is your favorite animated movie?
Ooh, okay. Oh, man, okay. Favorite animated movie? Ah, there's so many. But I think, baby, go fetch me my Stitch.
Which one?
Just any of
Any of them?
Any of them. Okay. So, I have always been a gigantic. I've just been in love with Polynesian culture and tikis, and even though I'm not gonna claim that I'm like very knowledgeable on them, I just love the designs of all the stuff they do. And when Chris Sanders came up with this guy, it just blew my mind. That movie was amazing. That movie was great, and I still don't think it got the respect that it deserves.
As far as I go, my favorite animated movie would be Tangled.
Tangled's a good one.
So Rapunzel from Disney.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's a very good one.
That was a good question. That was fun. And thank you for including me. Chris Sense1 said the art books are great for any library.
Oh yeah, those art books are fantastic. Like honestly, like not a lot of things capture my attention as much as like an artist's sketchbook book or the art of like a certain artist that I really really like. Like very very few things are like as exciting to me as getting a new book from the artist that I really like.
Benedict Royer clarified, and he meant a hat.
A hat. Okay, those are relatively easy to explain.
Front and back of a hat.
Front and back. All right, let's draw a hat. Let's set this up right there. Okay, so a hat from the front and a hat from the back. So let's draw a person from the front and a person from the back.
While you draw this, Corrupt Ewok said, I would be very interested in a tattoo of Rodgon's art.
Ooh.
Are you located around the San Diego, California area?
Yeah, if you're located in San Diego, just kind of like one of us up. That would be really fun. So, okay, we have two heads, one from the front, one from the back. So in this case, I'm just gonna fill in the basic like body shapes that are gonna be like needed to understand in order to draw a hat. In this case, I'm just drawing ears for the front, for the back. And that's pretty much all we really need to care about right now. So what I like to do is I like to establish where the eyes are going to be first. Just like anything, any other head, I establish what the eyes are going to be. And then considering that the top of the head, everything is 3D. We're drawing through, right? Pew, 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 pew. Pew, 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 pew. We're drawing through the shape. So whenever we're drawing through it. So we try to establish how we want the hat to fit. Let's say that it's a hat that's just pointing up. So you draw around, and that's a really good technique to do anyways with hats because that's exactly where it fits. And then from there you can just extend where the beak of the hat is. And then there's parts that are going to be covered. So there's parts you don't even have to draw if you draw it completely from the front and looking up. In this case, it would be pointing up here. And then you would see the back of the hat be more like that.
You've been asked, what is your favorite, quote, art of books book?
All the Chris Sanders books. All the Chris Sanders books. Oh man, let me see. How many do I have close by? Mr. Chris Sanders is my favorite artist. His books are just amazing, absolutely amazing. Like his sketchbooks, I just absolutely love them ever since I like saw his artwork. Dude is fantastic. Like I look forward to his new sketchbooks every year. Okay, so this is what you would see whenever you draw a hat from the front view. Now, if you wanted to draw it directly from the front, you don't get a lot of depth. Like if it's just flat, it's literally just a line that cuts the rest of the face. And then you have like the cholo look. Hey, vato. See, like it doesn't give you like the depth that you really like want whenever you have like something that's looking straight forward. But it's a very easy way to draw like cats as well. From the back, just draw the opposite and you're good. See? Ta-da! Front back. Any other questions?
Yes. Let's see. Ayush said, bro, my thinking is that if I made any anime, I should do my Indian culture, but when I go make something, the drawing gets destroyed and I get demoralized, so what to do?
What do you mean it gets destroyed? Do you physically destroy the piece of art that you're doing, or because there's always if you feel like you're destroying things when you're inking them or coloring them, you can always make photocopies. you can always make photocopies of the sketch before you do anything. Take a picture of them, or like invest in something that allows you to work digitally so you don't destroy them.
I should include that he keeps spamming the question again, though.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, guys, but we're gonna have to start establishing rules in the chat because if I'm getting told that you guys are spamming, then I'm not gonna I'm not gonna answer the questions. So, we're trying to get through everybody. So if you ask a question, we're probably gonna answer it. Just be nice, or don't be here.
Sun E said, "Hey Rodgon, what's your thoughts on graffiti letters and characters?"
Graffiti letters. I literally have tattoos of graffiti letters and arrows and graffiti stuff. I absolutely love it. I am absolutely horrendous at it, but I love graffiti.
Matthew Fuentes said, "Alright, let's get serious for both of you. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?"
Oh God. If I welcome you into my home and you desecrate good pepperoni pizza with pineapple, um, there's gonna be a problem. No, I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't mind it, but it's kind of like cheese and pineapple just don't kind of mix in my mouth.
I love pineapple pizza. I don't have it a lot, but I think that the chances that I do, it's really good. But it's just like my mood with every kind of food. It's just, would I eat it 24/7? No. But sometimes you get in the mood for like a lighter, refreshing pizza. So, yeah.
Lighter, refreshing pizza. See, me and her have very, very different pizza tastes.
Corrupt Ewok mentioned about the tattoos, that he lives in LA, but it's worth the trip down to get a tattoo.
Oh, snap!
So I already written in the chat my tattoo Instagram for him to message me a piece that he would like to get done by you.
Sounds good. Yay! That would be amazing. That'd be so fun. Let's see.
Are there any non-superhero comics that you used to read? Mine is Little Audrey, Mewtwo 329 said.
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever heard of Johnny the Homicidal Maniac and Squee and what was it? What was the name? It's literally where do I have it? Lenore. Yes, Lenore. This comic is so good. It's so good, guys. And Squee is probably by John Vasquez, is probably my favorite comic of all time. It's about this little kid that just gets terrorized by this homicidal maniac that moves in next door, and it's just very dark, and it's by the same dude that created Invader Zim.
Shiva asked, "Will you do an art book or post on the Instagram?"
Well, I mean, I have an art book. I have to upload it to Amazon so everybody can buy one, and not have me have to spend all my time packaging stuff. But yeah, art book is already made. I just need to make more copies, and I also will have the pinup book by the end of the year. And then I also want to release my art book, How to Draw Absolutely Everything, Chapter 1, The Basics.
Caitlin Dragon Art said, "Have you seen the movie Dark Crystal?"
No, I have not, and I get a lot of grief over here because of that.
Benedict Royer said, "Nice, thanks."
You're welcome.
Jen and Jester said, "Hey Rod, just got home from work and saw the stream up. Hope you and Marianne are having a good night."
No, thank you. We certainly are. This is the second time we stream like this, so it's been really nice.
Thanks, Jen and Jester. Hope you are too. Sun E says, That's awesome. You're one of my favorite artists, and that just makes it better that you love the art that I'm best at the graffiti comment.
Yeah, I absolutely love it.
Says love your style.
Thank you. Graffiti has always been a super like not I won't say like super important, but it's been a super influential part of my work. Let me adjust this real fast.
Nice Brebner says, get J. Scott Campbell's art books.
Oh, I don't need to because Marianne gets them all.
I collect them all. So I have all of his rough stuff, sketchbooks. I have, I don't have the color hardback books. You know, like the red, the blue, the green that he does. But the rough stuff sketchbooks that he put out is really neat because you can also see a lot like what Rodgon does, where he breaks down anatomy and sees the shapes and how he builds his characters as well. Exclusive Potter said, can you make a video on drawing Harry Potter characters?
I would probably make a video on like drawing my house and Marianne's house. I think that could be a really cool one. And then make it like a draw this in your style if you are like the same houses as we are.
Ayush said that his drawing doesn't seem good, so he tears it while making his own. But if he makes anything anime by seeing someone's, he can make the exact drawing. So what to do next?
Well, it seems like you have the skill to be able to create your own stuff. You just lack the visual and mental library to be able to have that available to you. So what you need to do is you need to go out and you need to draw absolutely everything you see. Just head out there with a sketchbook and fill it up in one day if you can. Just bring something easy to draw with like charcoal or like a really soft pencil and then just go to town like on everything. You have the skill and you have the ability because you're able to replicate other people's artwork. Now it's just about a matter of creating your own. Using that skill that you've developed, that's a pretty cool skill, by the way, because, you know, like just by being able to draw, you're already like ahead of the curve of everybody. So if you can take that and you like move it in a way that's going to be beneficial to you, then you got to put the time and effort and you got to not get discouraged and don't rip up your own sketches. You got to understand there's a learning curve to all this. You can't get frustrated because you can't make it in this field if you just get frustrated with failure. Like we go through failure. All of us, all artists go through failure in order to get to where we are. You got to fail like countless times to be able to find the right way to do something. And, you know, just have to put up with it. And if you can't and you get really upset whenever something doesn't go your way, it's going to be a very, very, very painful career for you.
Benedict Royer says, for Marianne, for tattoo designing, do you use Procreate or simply by hand?
Ooh, okay. So do you use Procreate or just create by hand whenever you do tattoos?
So in most of my early to mid tattoo career, I started out with a light box, a lot of tracing, and paper, a lot of paper. I did everything by hand for a long time until this guy that you guys know introduced me to the iPad. So after he let me have fun and learn on the iPad, I started transferring my tattoo designs from paper to iPads, and it saves me hours, easily hours of my days.
Of your life.
Yeah, of my life, just to design tattoos now. So thank you, Rod.
Oh, you're welcome. So now I'm just kind of drawing. I just felt like drawing a little bit bigger than I normally do. So I'm just drawing a big fat marker, just sketching with it, seeing what I come up with. Uh, Again, not really taking it like super serious. If it doesn't come out the way I want it, doesn't matter. Everything's teaching me something. Uh, and when you start seeing things like that, you start forgetting that you have blocks. Just
Matthew Fuentes says, I've been reading Echo and Skygull. Oh, and Solo, really good non-superhero books.
which ones?
Echo
Echo?
and Skygull
What?
and Solo.
What are those? Is that like a Solo from like Star Wars?
I think he was talking about the comics that are not superhero related.
Oh, okay.
Sun E said, are you going to make more sketchbook videos on YouTube? I miss those videos.
I have about like 4 of them that like I haven't had the chance to upload. So yeah, I have a bunch of them there. Like I just need more time. I need all my followers to buy me a big fat studio so I can just create videos for all of you, and then I don't have to work.
Illusion says, looking forward to collecting some of your books.
Thank you. Like I really do like appreciate any support like that. More so because it's terrifying. Like the idea of releasing a book and investing a ton of money into making them and hoping that people buy them is a terrifying feeling. But it's something that I look forward to anyways.
Corrupt Ewok said, I would like to sign up for your book orders. I was so late to them the last time that you sold them.
The last ones that I sold were the remainders from Lightbox 2 years ago. So I do have to place more orders so that more people can have access to them, or just honestly just get it uploaded to Amazon so that everybody in the world can do it. Unfortunately, like I would make a lot less money, but it would facilitate a lot of things.
Mandel said, I bought a drawing prompts book, yet I still find it hard to think of things to draw. What do you suggest to help an art block?
Okay, so another point that art block like hits is creativity. And honestly, whenever you're creatively blocked, the best thing that you can do is have contingencies for it. I have my idea book. This whole book, well, as far as it is so far, contains all the stuff that I normally think about on a day-to-day basis. If I think of any cool idea, it's in here. If it's any concept, any lesson, any like characters, any concepts, any stories, any poems, anything like that, it goes in here. And whenever I feel art blocked, I just go in here. I just go in there and I just look around and then like find something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, but I haven't yet. Another thing you can do is do the same thing, but with screenshots. You can screenshot a lot of really cool artwork and then just, go back and study it later. And that's like been a really good one for me. Like I absolutely love like screenshotting absolutely everything. I have like a couple thousand screenshots. And then whenever I feel like I don't know what to draw, I just go back and I just reference one of those and then I have something to draw.
Matthew Fuentes said from earlier, love the rough stuff books, so I can see how the donuts are made. Chris Sens one commented from earlier, J. Scott's the man. Ayush said, have seen Scott Harris. He also does sketches like yours.
Scott Harris. No. Unfortunately, like I'm a very uninformed artist. As much as I would like to say that I'm incredibly knowledgeable about the other artists in the world, uh, I find myself inside my head a lot more than like finding out other people. Um, so, no, unfortunately, I don't know who that is, but I'm pretty sure their artwork's probably amazing.
Mariana Martin asked, "Have you and Marianne designed a tattoo for someone? I mean, Ross
Was it like we made like the Final Fantasy ones, right?
Yes.
So we made a couple Final Fantasy like designs. It was a chocobo and one was a Moogle with like some books. And I think that was the first tattoo that we did that was kind of like both of us.
Yeah, it was an awesome collaboration because you can tell it was your style right off the bat.
Yeah, and that's what made me trust her with the ability to tattoo people.
And Matthew Fuentes said about those books from earlier that we were wondering.
Mm-hmm.
He said, yes, they're comics.
Okay, I'll have to look into those. Comics are one thing that I've like always wanted to just get back into, and then like I know a stupidly large amount of things about comics. Uh, I wish that I could put that knowledge to use. Like, anybody want to pay me to argue about who is stronger, Iron Man or like, like Lex Luthor? Anyone?
Ayush Soni said, have you taken part in Inktober? If you have, show us any of your drawings that you've done.
Okay, so one thing that I used to think back in the day was that I didn't need to participate in Inktober because I drew in pen and ink absolutely all the time. There's every single day was just drawing in ink. So Inktober, this is Inktober for one of the years. And see how far I got. Day 1, yay! Day 2, woohoo! Day 3, starting to get sloppy. Day 4, I'm already starting to like just like draw random shit. And then day 5, and then that was it. That was it for the rest of Inktober I think 2 years ago. And then this last year, I was just too busy to actually be a part of it. So, yeah.
Amanda also said, thank you for the answer. Your art is amazing. I follow you and her on Instagram.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
You guys are awesome. All right. So we're just...
Mr. Tony P said, I draw a lot more because of you. With a ballpoint pen at times, just because I know how much good stuff that you can create.
See, that's all I ever like aim for. If I can show someone the pleasure of drawing and they get like a super nice kick out of it, and they don't have to spend a retarded amount of money, man, that's always a win. Like, because that person is going to be able to create and like find joy in that every single time that he picks up anything. A person that can only like find satisfaction by drawing with the best materials is going to be incredibly limited, like, and will eventually not be able to create because you're never guaranteed your favorite materials. So that's why you got to be versatile. And oh my god, it's already like been like an hour and 20 minutes.
Mr. Tony P said it shows the value of sharing your story. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Tia Grant says my inspiration was wondering when you would be back on YouTube. ... Keep up the good work, man. ... Love your art.
No, thank you. Well, I'm gonna try to do like these Monday videos as much as I can, and it's been really, really nice that I've had an assistant right here that has been helping me with the questions and everything. So we're gonna keep this up as much as we can with our busy schedules, and then maybe one day, we'll be able to do this full time. Yeah. How cool would that be? Daily podcasts. That'd be pretty dope. Or streams or whatever. All right, but I think unless we have another question that
Just
needs to
one.
be answered.
Corrupt Ewok says tips on shading with pens. I struggle on light shading.
Okay, I can just explain it right here. Pens, very interesting, very, very fun to draw with, not very forgiving. So you have to be very careful with what you're laying down. Whenever you're shading, let's zoom in right there. Boop. Let me find that sweet spot right there. Right there. Okay. So, boom, boom. When you're shading with pen, let's say you have some basic shapes. When you're shading with pen, what you got to do is you got to follow the contour of the shape. In this case, it's round, so the lines are going to be going around it. And then you just start layering little by little until you get the desired look you want. It's all about cross-hatching and having a lot of control over what you're drawing. A lot of confidence. It takes an incredible amount of confidence to be able to comfortably lay down lines without feeling like you're going to mess up. And that comes with a lot of control, a lot of practice, and understanding what your tool can do. For example, I know that pens like these, they blob up, right? They like create like the little tiny lines if you let them blob up. What I'm doing with every stroke or every other like time I can is I rotate the pen as I'm playing with it. I'm laying down lines, I rotate, lay down lines, rotate, lay down lines, rotate, and then I keep that little blobs from happening. And I know that because I've played with pens for like 3, 4, 5 years now. It's just as my main drawing tool. And a lot of people can probably pick it up a lot sooner than I did. But it's just a matter of control and understanding like that you need a little bit of confidence in your line work, and drawing with pen actually helps you get that a lot quicker than pencil, because you can't erase, and that's not always easy. Any last questions?
You're all caught up?
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us in this stream. Seems like there was quite a bit of you. And I gotta say thank you. And I'm trying to zoom out so you can see everything. There you go. We did some pretty cool pieces of art, and we went through quite a bit of things that you guys can use in order to avoid having art block. So thank you all so much. Have a fantastic night, and I'll see you all in the next week's stream. All right? Take care.
Bye.
Oh, and let's say thank you to my lovely assistant, Marianne Fredericks. And thank you to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Have a wonderful
That's what I deal with, guys.
have a wonderful night, everybody, and we'll see you guys all next week.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.